Meeting is being recorded.
So good morning, good evening, welcome everyone. Welcome to VizConnect. My name is Sagar Kapoor and I'm a part of customer success team at Tableau. So VizConnect is all about connecting you with the art of data visualization and storytelling. We started this as a small project in last year in May with the help of Divya Bharti. She is a Tableau ambassador in India. And our whole purpose was we wanted to connect everyone with each other so that we can go ahead and learn from what are the best practices we are following, how exactly we are participating in Tableau communities, and how exactly we can share our knowledge with each other. That was my intent to start VizConnect. So far we have hosted 25 sessions. There have been amazing 31 speakers and seven of the Zen masters. And today we have one more with us. 400 plus subscribers on our YouTube channel. So all the sessions which are presented over here, we just go ahead and push it to our YouTube channel. We have a LinkedIn group in which people can go ahead and connect with each other, talk to each other, and learn from each other over there. And this has been all possible because of the amazing speakers, right? And they have been very kind with us, just in particular, just waking up so early just to go ahead and talk to the amazing APAC and EMEA community over here. As I talked before, we have a YouTube library. So all the sessions are uploaded over here. So I will go ahead and share the details with you so that you can check. And the next thing is we have a LinkedIn group. So just go ahead and join the VizConnect on LinkedIn. Some amazing content is waiting for you over there. So I will come back to today's sessions, right? And during registrations, I always try to collect data as we are a data company, right? So I just wanted to try to understand how many people were attending this Connect session for the first time. And yeah, only 18% of the people have connected this session before, and we have around 82% new people joining us on VizConnect. So a warm welcome to them. And you can see that VizConnect has spread across globally, right? We're getting registrations from everyone across the globe. People are loving this particular format. They want to learn from our community, right? How exactly they're going ahead and learning from each other during this particular time. And I think one thing which I have to work very closely with the community is that, and I try to do it in all my sessions. I just try to ask a simple questions. How many people have Tableau public profile? And surprisingly, this particular percentage, a majority of the people, I think they're not able to understand why a Tableau public profile is needed, right? And I think our today's speaker, for him, this will be one question: why a Tableau public profile is needed, and how exactly it has helped us. And the last question, which I always try to talk to everyone, is all about which version of Tableau desktop are you using, right? So how updated are you with respect to the version? This also helps us to understand which particular session we should go ahead and plan it. So without further ado, let me introduce our first speaker. His name is Klaus Schulte. He is a two-time Tableau Zen master and a professor of management accounting at Munster School of Business. He teaches data visualization and Tableau to his accounting students in MSB's bachelor's and master's programs, and also helps clients with implementing data-driven management in accounting. Klaus likes thinking about how to use Tableau in innovative ways and blogs about his finding at bizjockey.com. You should definitely check that. In 2018, he competed on the biggest stage and became the Iron Viz champion at Tableau Conference Europe in London. And the fun fact about him is that, according to Simon Beaumont, he has become the Three Lions lucky charm, which he never wanted to be. Without further ado, Klaus, over to you.
Okay. Okay, good. I hope you can see my screen now, and thanks for your introduction.
We can see your screen. Yeah, go ahead, please. Sorry.
Okay, thanks for your introduction, Sag. Come from me, Klaus, and I'm really happy to be here. We are all experiencing strange strange times these days, and I'm really glad that we can keep connected thanks to formats like this, like VizConnect, or all the other virtual events that pop up on almost a daily basis. I hope that you're all safe. I'm working from home too for almost 3 weeks now, and therefore I cannot guarantee that my daughters won't crash this session, but we will see. Yeah, these are serious times, and having some fun with financial data topic. To many of you, this may financial data and fun in one sentence. So maybe it's more like kind of fun. And like Saga said, I'm an accountant, and unfortunately, we are not funny people. And I'm lucky I found some really funny cartoons, accounting-related cartoons created by Greg Kite, and I've them in my presentation, not always related to the topics I'm going to talk about, but yeah, I think they're funny. This is my kind of humor, and you have to visit the website goingconstant.com where Greg published his cartoons. So having fun with financial data. Saga already introduced myself a little bit. Like I said in my day, I'm an accountant. I'm a professor of management accounting at Münster School of Business. And therefore, I'm a teacher and a researcher. I teach courses like cost accounting, financial accounting, budgeting, but also analytical system. As part of this, I'm also teaching Tableau to my students, and these are and undergraduates. At night, I'm very proud for the second time this year. Thanks for that, Tableau. And becoming Iron Viz champion at Tableau conference was really one of the best experiences in my profession so far. I like to blog. Saga already said that about my Tableau findings at vizjockey.com. So feel free to come and visit my blog. And I'm also the founder and CEO of CO Data, which is a consulting boutique, and I do Tableau most of the time in finance departments. And if you ever feel the need to get in contact, you will find me on Twitter and on LinkedIn or anywhere else. So me as a professional person, I'm technically the full outer join of my day job and my night job. And there are some aspects in my professor are not related to my Tableau topics and but today we want to talk about the inner join of both. Yeah, so I've been doing some work on helping finance to get faster insights from their data, and therefore I'm trying to use knowledge, my Tableau capabilities to to spread the word of Tableau's mission to help finance people to see and understand their data. Yeah, my first chapter meeting basic needs. And yes, we accountants, we want to see data as it is. And this is why the text mark type is maybe even the most important mark type for us. And of course, this is a conflict because we all know about the value of data visualization within our community, but unfortunately, many finance people feel they don't. And in addition, and also unfortunately, hacky very quickly when it comes to creating tables in Tableau. Table calculations have been a nightmare for me many times, and I admire the people that really master table calculations. I'm not at that point. I'm closer, and I would like to share some of the tricks and some of the techniques I've used and written about to create engaging tables and to get maybe a first foot into the door of the finance departments, to just talk about, or to be able to talk about more visual approaches in a second step. Yeah, and like I said, I would like to demo some things, and I've created data that will guide me through this demo. And I would like to introduce the data in just a second. So I've created P&L data, and this data comes in a hierarchy. So we have cluster, and these cluster group the different positions of a P&L. So like in the gross profit, we have revenue and cost. In the overhead cluster, we have selling expenses and so on. We have the financial profit cluster and the taxes. And I've also included the subtotal. We will talk about creating a P&L as a basic most of the finance departments need and they work with every day. And this, like I've said, this is unfortunately not too easy to create in Tableau. And show you some work to create a basic P&L in a first step. Yeah, so the first idea is to create a P&L and therefore fill my data on a certain date. Let's use the 1st of December. Okay, my year-to-date value, and this is in my sample data for the values for the positions. So like revenue is 167,000 and the other positions according to. So to get the result of my P&L, I would just on the column grand totals, and this would be the net income. So this is 7,609. So what we now need in a P&L is subtotals. If I switch on and I deselect them or cluster here, and then we have our subtotals for gross profit, for EBIT, for EBT, and for net income. So and this is basically okay, but only for the gross profit. So this subtotal shows this subtotal unfortunately does not show the EBIT because it is just up the of the cluster, but it is not cumulative with the gross profit. So EBT doesn't show the EBT either, and net income is wrong. So with table, you won't make any of the finance people lucky or happy. We have to think different, and this was actually I thought about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and there was a on Twitter with Jeffrey Scheffer and Roddy Zakovich and Alexander Mu. So some Zen masters thought about this topic, and it was very, very funny that the solution was so simple to just in total and calculate the running total in the positions total. And then switch off the grand totals again. And then we already have here, and then we already have our P&L. Oh, this was too much, sorry. So we have the 33,000, we have the EBIT, which is okay, we have the EBT, which is okay, and we have the net income here. So this will be the first step to create a P&L. Now there are some disadvantages with this technique. And the first of all, finance people, this row to be named total, but this should be the gross profit. So first impulse could be to just change it to gross profit, and you see what happens. We have 4 times gross profit, and we are able to change the label in the end. And then a little hack could be to just do this. I've prepared this, and we have little text boxes on top of this, and this would only when the structure of the table is. There are no additional rows in the next period, and the table stays as it is, and then you can use this to just add custom labels to your totals. So yeah, this would be the first trick to create a P&L. Unfortunately, I had the task to do well. I didn't have a static set of the table, because the finance people wanted to switch between cost of sales method and total cost method, and therefore we had different structures of the table, so I couldn't use these labels. And therefore, second technique to do this is the technique with data densification. So, and therefore brought in my sample data twice. So we have copy of the data, which is called PL sample, and the second copy is called PL sample 2. And I've created a variable named copy based on these table names. I'll show it to you. So in case the table name is PL sample, then my copy, and in case the table name is PL sample 1, the copy is 2. And now I would like to demo how to create a P&L with custom labels by using these two copies of data. And therefore, I'm creating a new position. I call it new, of my copy. I say when the copy is 1, then my position. And when the copy is 2, I take my subtotal. So pretty straightforward. Then I'm using my subtotal, I'm using my copy, and I'm using my new position to have, now you can see here now the gross profit, you can see the EBIT, the EBT, and the net income. So that's already nice. Second step would be to add the measure again, and it's not working yet. Could the trick from the example before. Let's do it with a running total, and again compute by using subtotal. It still doesn't work. So we have to create an adjusted for this technique. And again, we have to differentiate based on the copy of data we have in our data. Yeah? So I call it current year-to-date new. And again, in case of the copy, for the first copy, when 1, using just the sum of my measure, and when 2, the copy of data is 2, then I take the running sum of my sum current year-to-date value. And this should work now, hopefully. Let's put it on text and compute it. Yeah. And of course, I messed it up. Let me have a look. It should work. I've prepared it. Aha. Okay. I've got it. So I'm now summing up over both copies. And so I've doubled the data, and therefore I have to divide it by 2, and now it works. So we have our we have the same data, we've just created basic P&L. Where is it? 7.6 million, and we have it here in our new P&L with data densification as well. Yeah. Next step would be to hide the headers. And what I like to do is to use row banding to table. So let's go to row banding. And this should be on this. And we have a nice P&L. So these are not sorted right now. We could change that in the default things, but for the I will leave it as it is for now. And for a P&L, we always need 2 periods. Let me just duplicate this once, and for the prior year value, prior year to date, prior year to date. Okay, and let's call this prior year to date. I would have it prior year first, and then the current year, and this is a nice P&L. Let's get rid of the color. Okay, looks good. This would be a very easy trick to create a P&L. And now we have combined non-cumulative values for the position and cumulative values for the subtotals. And this is first way to visualize it. Good. Let me see. I will add this here. Would be to add margins. We accountants, we always when we see this data, we start to think about margins. So, like for example, gross profit as an absolute value doesn't say too much to us. We want to see how has it changed compared to the revenue. And therefore, we can easily create the current value, the current margin in percent of sales by creating something like this. So we take our current year-to-date data densification value that we've just created, and take the first value, which is the revenue, and divide it by this first value. Yeah? So then we get and we can change this to a percentage value, and we have an margin compared or next to the values. And we could do the same for the prior year values. No, it was already right. To give an additional information, and in a standard P&L we wouldn't have this margins, and this already adds a value to the reader of this P&L. Okay, so these are the basic needs, and like a P&L is the oxygen of many of the accountants. And with these two techniques, with table calculation, with data densification, we are able to create this. Unfortunately, it's not possible with just data, but these are two handy tricks to create this. Okay, so now we have our first foot into the door of the finance department. We are able to create a basic P&L, and now let's start thinking about getting more visual or creating more visual tables. And what I've experienced in my consulting project is that you have to be careful with creating visuals, especially for the P&Ls, because we are accountants are conservative. They like to see the data, and like they were introduced to P&Ls, they are not very open to other representations of P&Ls, for example, and therefore we have to be careful. And what you can, I think many of you might have Googled to find more visual approaches of P&Ls. And what you can find often is something like this. So you just add a little bar chart next to the table to add a little spark bars. And this might already add some value, but to me, to be honest, not too much, because yeah, for example, the scale is set by the revenue and the cost of sales. So these are the long bars, and we have all these tiny bars in the middle. For example, look at in the EBT section where we have this interest income, interest expense, or even here the other operating. These are very tiny bars. Nevertheless, they can be important for the EBIT, for the EBT, or the net income as well. So this does not really add value to finance people, because we can see the same information from the figures as well. What you also can find is something like this. So we have again the bar chart, and next to the bar chart we have the relative change as a bar chart. And also, this does not add much value to us. For example, here the relative by position, there has been a change of almost 200%, and the other positions that are way more important for net income, these are very, very tiny bars, and so you could get the same information from just the table. Third, you can often find when you Google things like this. So this is a waterfall chart showing how the net income is resulting from the different positions. So we start with the revenue and cost of sales, which are setting scale, and we have again these small, very small, tiny bars in the middle area here, and there is not much additional value from this visual representation compared to the itself. So what I do, and this is maybe something that I want to demo again, is to add a waterfall with change between two periods, because this is something that we actually do every day. We always look into two periods and want to learn about the change between these two periods. Or even better, we have budget values for the periods, and then we compare to the budget. So therefore, let me again to create my P&L. So we have again our subtotal, our copy of the data, and our position that we have created. And we have our current year to date and our previous year to date view. And I'm filtering down my periods to the 31st of December. So this should be again the from earlier, so previous year and current year. And what I would like to do now is to add a waterfall chart visualizing the absolute change between these two periods. And therefore, we have in the first step to add our measures as discrete values to the row chef. Sorry. Same for the current year discrete. We will format that in a second step, and then just calculate the difference between two. So this is the difference, and this is current year minus prior year. Okay, let's see how this works. So this would be the difference. Okay. get rid of this. So we already see this. And for a waterfall chart, we now to running. Oh no, sorry. First, we have to. This is already. This is table down. This is okay. And we have to. And then switch it to the Gantt mark type and bring in the difference on size. And we will see that this doesn't work because we have the two copies of the data and we extracting a norm for the positions, and we are subtracting the running sums for the subtotals, and therefore we have to do it differently. And therefore, let me take this out again, and I will show you. I've prepared this how to create the bridge. Again, we are subtracting the bridge to create the first step, and then create an adjusted bridge in our copy. So for the positions which are on copy 1, we build the running sum of the difference. And for the second copy of the data, take the difference of these two positions. And now to bridge. It's already there, and putting the bridge of the negatives should have to set specific dimensions. This is table down. This is okay. This is table down. This is okay. And this has to be calculated about total and position new, but not for the copy. And I'm so this should do it. Yeah, this is not looking good. Okay, excited now and bridge. And we could add, for example, by saying if the bridge, if the difference is negative, then we could color it blue, and if the difference is color it red, sorry, and if the difference is positive, we could color it blue. And again, switch off or turn off the data for the copy as well. And again, formatting a little bit. Let me row banding again. Should put this on the right line. And we don't need. Let's add some color. Make it red. Okay, so this could do it, I think. So this is a, oh, this was too much. Smaller. So in this, I think this visualization can now see, or this would add value to my accounting colleagues, I think, because like I said, this is what we do. We are always comparing to the prior year or to the budget. And in this case, we can now see how the values have changed. what are the main drivers of the change in our subtotals, in the gross profit, in the EBIT, or in the EBT, or in the net income. Yeah, so this would be the first idea to, I think, to add some value with a visual representation of the data. A second way could be to add these little spark lines. With spark lines, we show the trend positions over in this case over the last 12 months. Maybe I get rid of the margin. This gets a little bit busy. So just in addition to the values of the current year and the prior year, we have the spark line. This is also a little bit hacky to do in Tableau. And this row banding collapsed because I got rid of this column. We do this again. Yeah, so this is a little bit hacky. We can create nice tables with these techniques, and yeah, like I said, this waterfall visualizing the absolute change between the two periods, or these little spark lines already add some value to a naked table. Yeah. Okay, good. In the next, I would like to introduce a technique to gain more insights from, for example, P&L data by drilling down. And what you can always or often find wild is that we have dashboards with many data on it and a lot of quick filters, up to 20 quick filters to find a way through data. And most of the time, this will end in an out-filtered dashboard. So there are some settings that result in an out-filtered dashboard, and you can see nothing anymore, and then you get a phone call that the dashboard is broken. And to avoid this, I would like to introduce a technique. I've learned this technique from a fellow Zen master from Rosario Gauna. She has a great blog, and she's blogging in English and Spanish. She's from Mexico, and she introduced a technique with a single sheet drill down. And I'm going to demo and to explain a little bit what this technique is about in the next minute. So again, I've prepared a little bit. I think this is better than to do it live. So we need 4 calculated fields for this drill down, and we also need 2 parameters. One parameter I've called it level. Is a data of data type integer, and the current value is 0. The second parameter is the path, and the path parameter is a string parameter, and the current value is overall. And then, like I said, we need 4 calculated fields. The first is the drill down level. This will feed the parameter in the second step when we implement parameter actions. And this is, so if the level or the value of the parameter is 4, then the drill down level is 0, and else it will be 1 step above the current value of the parameter. So with this dimension, we will feed the parameter action to just dig deeper into our data. The field is the label, and with the label field, we define where we are right now in the hierarchy, and it's based on level parameter. And here I'm using fields from my. So if the parameter is 0, then please show the cluster dimension. If the parameter is 1, then show the position. If the cluster is 2, then show the type, and if the cluster 3, then show the count, and if the cluster is 4, then show overall. Yeah, this is my second field. The third field is the path field. This field will feed the path parameter in the second step when we implement parameter actions. And again, if the level is 4, that means if we are on the very bottom of our hierarchy, then the path will be overall, and else it will be the path plus the current label that we've defined in our second field. Yeah, this is the path dimension. Fourth dimension is then the filter to just keep, and this filter is based on the path parameter, and we are taking with this filter, looks a little bit complicated, we filter out all the, we just keep the relevant values for our drill down. Okay, so these are the fields. Rosario wrote a blog about it. I will share the link in a second. When you want to recreate it, this will be maybe more easy to follow the blog than in this video. Okay, so to create our drill down, the first on filter, we say this has to be true. I'm also filtering again my data down to the 31st of December. And then we need our drill down level. We need our drill down label. We need, where is it? There. Okay, this looks already good. And I don't want to show the path, therefore I hide it. And the same for the level. Then we can bring in some data, like the year value. Let's make this discrete. The prior year value. Make this discrete. And again, let's do a bridge. So I call it div year to date minus some prior year to date. And let's create this little waterfall, the running total, and put the div on size. Make it to the also want to show the grand totals. Okay. Well, yeah. Let's do coloring again. Let's put the color again, make it blue or red. If it's red, if it's positive, then it's blue. It's also the difference on label. Some formatting again. I don't want the column dividers. I want to make the 0 line maybe red. I don't want the dividers and make these right aligned. So this could be okay. Maybe we take for the grand total. Let me add some. Yeah. Okay, so this could be our visualization, and now we can implement parameter actions to feed the parameters we've created. Yeah, and therefore I will implement it here on worksheet level. We have actions. The first is for the level, and we take our level parameter. Here it is. And this, like I've said, this parameter will be fed from the DD level dimension. And this has to be set on average. And the second parameter, the path parameter. This fed from the DD path dimension. Okay, so and now to into the positions to see where the difference comes from. So we're now on the second level with cost of sales and revenue. We dig into cost of sales to see the different positions of sales. We can even have the cost of materials to look into the different accounts. Yeah, and this allows us to find out where the variance comes from between two periods, or between a period, an actual and a budget value, and this allows us to create action to act accordingly. Okay, so this is the technique, and what I like to do is to bring this together on a dashboard with some nice KPIs. So here on the left side, I've got my main KPIs like revenue, gross profit. This is the first cluster. Then for the second, the overhead costs and the EBIT. The third cluster, financial result and the EBT, and taxes and net profit for the fourth cluster. And then I'm able to use this drill down technique, and I've also implemented some little drill up functionality as well to find out what is going on. So like in the gross profit, I've demoed it before. We can see we have a year-over-year change of 1.2 million, and now let's see where this comes from. And it comes from cost of sales and from revenues. And by just clicking, we can drill down and we can drill up again. We can go into the overhead costs to see where the change comes from R&D, what happened in R&D. We have a change in personal expenses and less operational expenses. And yeah, like this, this I think a very, very good way to dig into your data to find out where the variance comes from. And to talk to people who are responsible for these numbers and ask them what happened. Yeah, from technique, I highly recommend this. This helps you to have all the quick filters and to enable the users of the dashboards to find their way through the data by just clicking on it. And this is very intuitively, and most of the people I've shown the technique and I've introduced this technique to have really enjoyed it and liked it. For KPIs, there is a great workbook, a great resource from Ken, 20 different ways to visualize KPIs. There you can find a lot of inspiration as well. And what I also can highly recommend is Workout Wednesday, and a lot of the techniques I'm using today I've learned from Lou and all the other guys participating with Workout Wednesday. Yeah, so this I think is a good technique. So and this allows, like I've said, the users to work better with the data. Good. So now we've talked a lot about and I would like to talk a little bit about visualizing financial data beyond tables, and this is possible, of course. Maybe not for daily use, but there are use cases when you want to, for example, visualize a profit and loss statement in an even more engaging way. For example, in your annual report or in shareholder meetings or board meetings, then a more visual approach could be appropriate. I would like to mention this standard work by Andy Kriebel. I think a lot of you will have seen this. So Andy used is using a scorecard technique here. I think this is based on work previously done by Lindsay Poulter. He's showing the slides for all the positions we have. For each position of the P&L, we have a scorecard, and then the scorecard lines are showing the trend over time. We have comparisons to latest month and month-over-month in relative values, comparisons to year-over-year. So you see there's already a lot going on in this dashboard, and this is really a great way to represent the P&L data. I've done some work on this recently, or at the beginning of the year, and this is the same data that we've seen in my sample data. And here I'm visualizing the to net profit. We always look with the table, and we would do it here too, from the top to the bottom, and we have the revenue at the top, and we go all the way down to the bottom to the net profit. And this visualization is inspired by Nadi Brenner. She did a Sankey kind of P&L for a Dutch company, and my challenge was to recreate this in Tableau. And I've talked about creating custom visualizations at PC last November. And this is basically, these are just shapes brought together. So this is a rectangle, this is a rectangle, this is a rectangle, this is a rectangle, and these are quarter circles. So this is a circle, a quarter circle, this is a quarter circle, this is a quarter circle. And when you know how to create a rectangle in Tableau and how to create a quarter circle in Tableau, then you can create this kind of visual too. And this is just a single sheet in Tableau, and we have just coordinates for X and Y. And with the polygon mark type, we are able to create this kind of visualization. But like I said, not for daily use, maybe more for print in the annual report or the shareholder meeting. I've also implemented filters to switch between the years. So here between 2014 and 2018, or to switch between an absolute and relative value, again, as a percentage of revenue, like we've seen before. Yeah, so you want to visualize it as a flow visualization. I've created this on Deutsche Bank data. This is a bridge, again, a waterfall chart. And I like to separate the different sections, so the different lines, again, like gross profit, EBIT, EBT, and net income, with just space between it. I'm using reference lines here to label the areas, and again, my bridge to explain how the change between two periods has happened. And this also, the main chart is just one single sheet in Tableau using the techniques to create custom charts with just X and Y coordinates, and a lot of tail calculations here too to get this working. Okay, good. I'd like to share with you is another approach to bring another dimension to dashboards, and we have the capabilities in Tableau to allow users to interact with the dashboards, and this is what I did here. So I've said the accountants, we tend to calculate our KPIs all the time, and the most important KPIs, especially for a P&L, these are the margins, the efficiencies, and the percentages of total. And I'm using here parameter and set actions to calculate the different margins in this case. So like gross margin, EBIT margin, EBT margin, or net income margin. I'm calculating efficiency like selling margin, selling efficiency, GA efficiency, R&D efficiency, and so on and so on. Yeah, so it's a different approach from just pulling all the data or bringing all the data to a dashboard, instead allowing the user to find his own angle of analysis and to just click the data, the dashboard that he or she needs for the analysis. Now we could even incorporate or implement the actions from P&L itself. I have done this here, but could be possible too. Okay, that said, I'm through. I hope you will find inspiration from this. This pick to help finance people to get more insights from their data. And I think we can do a lot with tables. I wish tables be more easy to create in Tableau, especially the tables I've demoed in this presentation. But I hope, and I'm quite sure there will be more to come, because I think this would be really beneficial for many finance departments to be able to create tables and even visual tables with spark lines, with waterfall charts more easily. So thanks for watching, and I'm looking forward to your questions.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Klaus. I think sharing, indeed, finance data is fun to work when you are working with it. I will put it like this. But thank you for sharing with us all the different ways how we can go ahead and create a PNL
Yeah, you're welcome.
dashboards and Tableau, right? Yeah. So if you have any questions, I think we have a few minutes left. Just go ahead and type it in the chat box or in the Q&A box. Happy to read it for you and ask Klaus over here. So the first question is that, are there any good resources with respect to finance data in the friendly format for Tableau?
Yeah, for sure. I think there are some sample dashboards on Tableau's website. Let's say. Then there are some people written about this stuff. So obviously, like Jonathan Drummy has written about how to create good tables and how to deal with the total challenges I've talked about. You can find some things on my blog, and there are a lot of other blogs that have written about this topic too. Yeah. So you can find some topics or some sources, but not too many. I think there is on Tableau Public, there is a section with finance dashboards too. So this could be a good first step to get into as well.
Thank you. And I think everyone is asking, Klaus, will you be able to share this workbook with them, or you will post it into your Tableau public profile?
I think I've demoed is already available on my Tableau public profile, but I'm sure I will upload this workbook as well. I have to clean it up a little bit, but then I will upload it for sure.
Perfect. Thank you. And let me see. I think in the beginning I mentioned about, I think for you, how important is Tableau public, right? And if you want to just advise people why they should have a Tableau public profile.
Yeah, I cannot to create a Tableau public profile to just a lot of inspiration from the community and for me especially. So my learning path was to start with Tableau public too. And when I started using Tableau 3 years ago, I got off Makeover Mondays. And each week I tried to create a different chart type and publish them all to Tableau Public. and you can really see how I've progressed over time, and how I've yeah, learned new skills and new chart types to yeah, how I've done this. And so therefore, like I said, I cannot recommend enough to create a Tableau public profile. This is a great resource for getting inspired and for sharing with the community.
Thank you for that. I think we are over time. Just any last thoughts you have, Klaus, to share it with the community, and then we can close it.
Yeah. So I've about extensions. So extensions could be a good way to improve the abilities of tables. I know an extension by Merlin Böth. He's created the super tables extensions. So I personally, I haven't done work on this, but I know especially this super table extension that could be beneficial maybe to some of you. Yeah, and to last thoughts, like I said, I'm really excited about this topic, the intersection of my job, my work on management and financial accounting, and about Tableau. And I think there's a lot we can do to help finance people to gain faster insights, or to help them to see and understand their data. And from what I see in the wild, there's still a lot to do. And I think some of the techniques I've demoed today can help to really progress in this field too.
Perfect. I think thanks a lot, Klaus, for your time today. I think it was great to have you on VizConnect. And thank you for sharing us with your knowledge.
Okay.
And with that, I will just make one more announcement that our next session on VizConnect will be on coming Friday, and it will be about how exactly you can go ahead and create landing page in Tableau. So Eric will be going ahead and talking with us about it. I will go ahead and I will be going ahead and sharing you the invitations for this. Please join us on Friday, and looking forward for everyone to go ahead and talk to us. So thank you. Be safe. Take care of yourself, and hope to you talk to you soon. Bye bye. Thanks, Klaus. Take care of yourself.
Thanks for having me.